Well, good afternoon. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 11:50 a.m. KKNW. I'm your host from Walden. It's my joy to be on the air. I've been off a few weeks. We had Mother's Justice breakfast not on November 9th. It was wonderful. I want to thank everyone for coming out and all the people who support us as we keep doing this work for justice. And also, I think Chukunda Salisbury was here one weekend, one Monday. And guess what? My Salisbury was here last another week. So anyway, that's what happens sometimes. But I'm glad to be here today, looking at a good show. Let's bring Mr. Rye on because he's always right on the minute, and always have a moment for good stuff to let us know what's going on. How you doing, Mr. Rye?
How you doing, Reverend Harriett?
Oh, I'm good. I'm looking forward to a good week here. And are you good?
Yeah, I am. I'm a little upset though. I heard
well, what's upsetting you? You're not
details that the Voting Rights Act of 1965 is being gutted, and I haven't heard the clarification. I haven't talked to a member of the Congressional Black Caucus, like Hank Johnson, who's on the House Judiciary Committee, to get a clearer understanding. But it's really a sad state of affairs when we have African Americans, in every branch of the military. They're on foreign right now in South Korea. They're in England. They're in the Mediterranean, defending folks in South China Sea, defending everybody's freedom. And, we don't have, African Americans don't have the freedom here, especially after being the best patriots that America has ever known, build the country for free, die in every war, including in segregated armies. And it's a sad state of affairs when, and I've had on my Facebook page, people need to look up the contributions made by African Americans, specifically during World War II, when outfits such as the Real Black Panthers liberated concentration camps. The 761st Tank Battalion liberated Jews from concentration camps. And then to turn back around, I know it was a long time ago, but that's why some people don't want our history to be known. But it's really unfortunate, a sad situation after all that, and then having blacks in the military standing ready to defend Israel, and we have Ed Bloom and Stephen Miller, two Jews who are doing everything they can to take opportunities away from black folks.
Well, now, how do we know that? I mean, has Congress
against all major colleges and universities, specifically aimed at black people? And Stephen Miller, even though he's Jewish,
right,
he's promoting a neo-Nazi agenda, and he certainly.
Well, Mr. Wright. I mean, now is this on the agenda? And who's bringing this forth? The House of Representatives. It can't come from the Senate. So who's bringing this forth?
No, it's through the courts. It's through the courts.
Oh, I mean, has the Supreme Court agreed?
The court challenge.
A court challenge, but has the Supreme Court agreed to hear it?
Now that I have to get that information. Just the idea.
Okay. Because we don't know. I mean, we don't know, and then we need to find out who's challenging it. I mean, so we can have so we can know more about it. But Mr. Wright, we've been fighting for equal rights ever since we've been here, and it seems like everybody else. Sometimes we forget. It looks like it gets lost somewhere. That's why we still have all this stuff in the world, because this slavery issue has never been reconciled. I mean, we wouldn't have this trouble today. Go ahead.
African descendants of United States enslaved in this country are the most patriotic people in the world. You go off and defend the country in segregated units. You come back to segregation in Washington, in the country. And then after you die in the Vietnam War, you come back here in the Korean War, and you come back here to redlining and bogus opportunities with all this infrastructure, Jobs Act money. It's just the same old. And, we have 10 black truckers were at a meeting about 3 weeks ago, and they hired a minority outreach firm to bring them together. And during the meeting, they said, well, we'll have opportunities in the future, but we only have these 2 trucks now, and that's specialty contracting. So Elton Mason said, well, who was awarded the dump truck service? Well, that's confidential. Elton Mason says, no, it's not. You didn't put it out for bid, and Joe Grady Trucking and Excavating got it for $11 million, and they're making a sham out of what is supposed to be the federal law about doing outreach to provide opportunities, and it's just not happening because of the fact
but you know,
that's true. Is not going to do anything to bring justice to black folks in this country, and he's a sad state for
Mr. Rye. You know, nothing is. Mr. Rye, you know, nothing is going to happen until we take it into our own hands. And one way we can do that is go from Thanksgiving to Easter and not buy anything. I mean, what we have not used for a long, long time. And we keep depending on this system to help us out. They're not going to do it. I mean, they've proven time and time again, they give us one and then they go back with Clarence Thomas and other people to take it back. But why don't we organize what we can do?
Well, I'm interested in anything that will work, but I think the most important thing is for people to have the information.
I agree, and I really appreciate that. I mean, I really think they need to have the information, but we need to also have a strategy.
Too, Harriett, is that I'm going to be talking to some other members of the clergy as well as folks from like the Breakfast Group and some of the fraternities and sororities. We need to have a black presence in all city council meetings. Churches can rotate. When the mayor is speaking, there needs to be something. When the attacks on Brent Jones, the superintendent of public schools, we'd have a presence at the school board meeting, whether it's in Seattle, in Kent, in Renton.
Yeah, that's what has to happen.
But we need to show up, because if you're out of sight, you're out of mind.
We need to show up. We need to show up because our people they're not the same people that they were 60 years ago when they organized. We're not. I mean, affirmative action and good jobs stopped the organizing. So we have to take responsibility and get out there and organize. I mean, like it is in other places.
See,
people don't show up.
We can't ignore what people are doing in the courts. We can't ignore.
You cannot. We cannot ignore that. We cannot ignore that.
That's what.
Yeah, right.
And then we also have to hold our elected officials accountable. That's thing.
Definitely. And I think the Black Caucus ought to be doing more. I mean, that's a group that has a voice. I mean, they should have a spot on all the black radio stations every week. I mean, that's something they could do.
Well, I had Hank Johnson on last week.
I know you do a good job now.
And then you
do a good job.
Congressman Bobby Scott, who I've been talking with about, he's a ranking member of the House Education Committee.
That's right.
And he shared with me already. Every time they come and give a report to the committee, I ask about the numbers. Well, we have all the minorities lumped together. He said, well, no, I need to see what my people are doing. I need to see what black folks are doing. That's right. That's what we have to do. It's broken down. We know that nothing's happening. And the sad thing about it is the Democrats in charge of everything on this side of the mountain.
Wait, but see, they're not our friends, Mr. Rye. We don't have no friends. At the end of the day, the cheese stands alone. Hi, yo, the cherry, yo, the cheese stands alone. I mean, we voted Democratic ticket for what the history. I mean, I vote for the Supreme Court, but they might get a better judge. But I mean, at the end of the day, they're going to stand up. I mean, they don't stand up for us, But I do vote that ticket. I voted for my grandmother and all the people who could not vote when I grew up. Sure. But where are their strength?
Yeah, I definitely understand that. But that's one thing. Plus, we have like the Lauren Miller Bar Association, and other black law clubs. I'm going to make it an effort to try to get some of them on my program. So
that's a good idea. You know what? We should get in touch with Ron Ward, I mean, because, he's really active and has done a lot. I mean, with training, with young lawyers.
Someone that's been all the way to the Supreme Court twice. And Lem was also very active in politics, too.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll definitely have to have him on to talk about this as well.
I think that's a good idea to have a lawyer on. I mean, often because, because there's other little things that's happening in the court that we sometimes miss unless it's such a landmark case, such a, like overturning what they did the other day, with Roe v. Wade, and then coming back for the civil rights issues and all those kinds of things. But I know for sure, because I'm a student of history just like you are, but we've had good Supreme Courts. We haven't had a good Supreme Court, since the Burger Court and with Thurgood Marshall and all of those. And then you have a dry spell in there, and you get somebody like Clarence Thomas, who absolutely, who's turned back the hand of time. And you just never know when these people bring these cases. It could be coming from his wife or somebody else. Somebody could be bringing the case that's connected to Clarence Thomas' wife. See.
Yeah, that's why Congressman Hank Johnson mentioned. As a matter of fact, if people go to Alexa right now, they can hear the Congressman Hank Johnson. He's a ranking member of the House Judiciary Committee, and he has
Right.
a law bill that I guess will be heard fairly soon. It's about bringing accountability and ethics to the Supreme Court. I don't have the name right now, but I'll share it with you because that's something we need to keep an eye on.
Okay, well, that's what's needed. I mean, that's what's needed because Clarence Thomas just sold to the company store. I mean, really and truly. And he was a sorry replacement for the good work that Thurgood Marshall did. Thurgood Marshall spent his whole life trying to liberate us. And Clarence Thomas has spent his whole life trying to put us back in bondage.
That's exactly what the deal is. And after he used affirmative action for everything he got.
Well, yeah, and he wants to put us back in bondage. I mean, and also the young people who brought this case about affirmative action did not know that that Thurgood Marshall case went to the Supreme Court about a Asian woman. I think it was a Chinese woman in the early in his career, so that she could have some civil rights down there. I'll get the other information about that also. I'm going to bring that because I learned that at Mother's Justice Show. Mother's Justice Breakfast, that one of the attorneys brought that case forward, and I didn't know about that case. So, but you know what I love about our show, I love about your updates is because you always remind us how far what we did. You know, you bring all this, you bring it all about how we served in every war. And the one thing that you didn't bring up this time was Harriett Tubman and the Union soldiers that saved the Union. I mean, saved this nation by fighting for our. You know, we have been always courageous. We've always fought for our own liberation. We're the most courageous people there is.
There's nobody in history, and that's why they don't want you to know your history. Because African descendants of the United States enslaved, the ones that were held in bondage, in slavery for 254 years, died in every war. And
every war.
In 1812, when they joined 1814, they joined the British.
That's right. That's joined the British. That's right.
They burned down the White House, the Capitol, and had to rebuild it.
And that's why the Star Springer Band talked about that in the so-called national anthem. That's why they don't sing that standards, because they were given praise that the flag was still there after the White House was burnt down. So, Mr. Rye, I just enjoy you coming on. You always bring us such an update, such a lively conversation. Are you planning a big Thanksgiving this year? I know you're not cooking.
But I think I want one thing for folks to remember. If you can't vote, you can't fight, okay? We can't have black men and women in the military all around the world fighting for somebody else's freedom, and their person's right to vote is being challenged right now. So,
you know what? We're gonna work on that. Yes, and make sure we get the information out. But also, we got to wake up the young people. They got to come off of TikTok. Got to come out of this foolishness. You know what? And understand where they are and how they're being used. How social engineering got them out there doing something that their ancestors would not approve of. So, yes, everybody. Well, listen, you always come on, and I always love it. So you tell your family happy Thanksgiving to your family and all your friends and all that food you're going to eat. We are blessed now, so we know it's going to be good.
I wish the same thing for you and your family, Reverend Harriett.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Rye.
All right.
All right. You listen to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. We're going to take a break, and I'll be right back, and I'll bring my next guest on.
The King County Sheriff's Office is proud to support the Mother's Justice Show. We're an equal opportunity employer that recruits, hires, and trains qualified and diverse police officers to practice constitutional policing throughout King County. With a starting salary of $62,000 a year, scheduled pay increases along the way, generous health, dental, and vision insurance, and a take-home car upon successful completion of field training. This can be an attractive and rewarding career. So join us and be a person that serves their community and helps to bring about positive change. For more information on becoming a member of King County Sheriff's Office, go to our website, kingcounty.gov/DEPTS/sheriff. That's kingcounty.gov/departments/sheriff. Or get more information by calling 206-263-KCSO. That's 206-263-KCSO.
The Mother's Justice Show is brought to you by H.G. Walden and the Virtues Healing Circles. Join us for Wisdom and Wellness with Reverend Walden, a monthly virtual and in-person healing circle that focuses on community healing and growth. Learn more at virtueshealing.com. That's virtueshealing.com. Also, be sure to join our healing group on Facebook. Again, visit us at virtueshealing.com today.
Tell your friends about Alternative Talk 1150.
Good afternoon. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm your host from Walden. It's my joy to be on air. You know, I love radio. And I love that song also because it just kind of goes into what we're gonna. This is my esoteric show, you know. Every time now and then I get to do a show where I really live at in the spirituality. That's what guides my life. You know, all the other work in the world is fine, but you got to have a place where you rest at. You got to have a place where you can find peace and joy. And that is my spiritual walk. And so I want to bring my next guest on, Miss Cheryl Wilder. She's a practitioner in Church of Religious Science down in Houston, but she used to live here in Seattle, and she's my personal practitioner. Been my personal practitioner for years, although she's a little younger than I am, look like that. So, but anyway, how you doing, Miss Wilder? How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's a beautiful sunny day right here in Houston.
All righty. Well, we got some sunshine here in Seattle with all the lovely fall, and I'm right now looking out at the Cascade Range mountains with snow on the top up there. So it's not that much snow as we will have. But welcome. First time you ever been on my show. I've been knowing you for years and years, and congratulations on being a practitioner for 20 years, and you get to be a practitioner emeritus now. So that means you're skilled. You just know how to do this. So I'm so glad to have you on, and just to bring up our vibrations and to just talk about some of the other things and about gratitude. I mean, you know, this is the time of year that people turn to gratitude more so than every day. You know how people are doing it. Oh, well, they complain. But, you know, this is the time of year that people get a little bit more gratitude. And before we go any further, I want to just acknowledge Native Americans who've been on this land for thousands of years and kept it very good before the colonizers came. In 500 years, look what happened to the environment. You know, and all of that stuff. And a little mere 500 years is not even a point in time. But we want to just honor them and all of them who's not here, and thank them for keeping the land so good for us. And we know that Thanksgiving is not what they do. It's another reality for them. But we're thankful for life right now. So welcome, and just come on in and just talk about what, you know, just give us some gratitude and something to work, and tell us about what you're doing. Also, what is a practitioner for all the people who might not know?
Well, a Science of Mind practitioners simply know the truth beyond the effects. That's, beyond what's happening right now. Maybe at some point in your life, a situation like dis-ease or lack or limitation of some nature has shown up in your life and affairs. And what you go to a practitioner for is for someone to know with you the truth, that you're always abundant, that you're never lacking anything, that there's no reality in dis-ease, and that you can be fully restored to health, and that within your experience is everything that's needed to be successful, to thrive in all your life and affairs. So that's what we do as practitioners. We know the capital T truth, that inside of each and every human being, there is that spark, that God spark that's within each and every one of us. And we just sometimes need to be reminded of who we are truly. And that's what we do in the practitioner ministry. So in the month of Thanksgiving, we always talk about gratitude. And I always like to begin with a few quotes. And here's one from fabulous Maya Angelou. Let gratitude be the pillow upon which you kneel to say your nightly prayer.
Wow. That's awesome, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
And there's so many wonderful quotes about gratitude. There's so many activities that people do. There's gratitude journals. I have a friend that does a gratitude jar where she has you put in, so many different things that you're grateful for. sometimes we'll do gratitude meditations,
Mm-hmm.
all those kind of things that you can do to anchor that feeling within yourself of expectancy. Because as we anchor what already exists in our lives, everybody has something to be grateful for. You took your next breath. That's something to be grateful for. As my dad says, I am above the ground. I am not 6 feet below the ground. So I woke up this morning, like the gospel says, I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Well, you're free. You are the answer to your ancestors' prayers. Here you are. Yes. Right here in this perfect moment. So there's a lot to be grateful for each and every day.
Yes, that's right. That's right. That's right. And that is so good how you say that. It's like, wow, that's awesome. It's always something to be grateful for. And I can remember just during COVID, and I asked people how to do, and they have something to say. So, well, you're not on a respirator.
No. You survived.
If you went on a respirator and you could breathe and talk on your own and during COVID, you're doing good.
Yes. Yeah.
All this other stuff is fluff. Because if you got breath and you breathing on your own, life is so good.
That's it.
Yeah. And I do gratitudes too. I started this. Actually, I heard it on down Reverend Michael's stuff. I think Mr. Campbell that was working with the youth, Reverend Campbell, and he was talking about the gracious gratitude. So I have these little slips of paper every night when I'm really, I miss some nights, and I always say miss with love. Whenever I miss something, I say I miss with love. Mm-hmm. And the next night is love notes to myself. But then at the end of that, I write gracious. My gracious gratitude, every day. And sometimes I could say I miss with love, but mm-hmm. I mean, because that gracious gratitude is something that's outstanding, other than, stuff that you've already seen, you've talked about and that kind of stuff. So, and I've been doing a gratitude journal I was calling it, at one time I was calling it just my do have. Because sometimes you got to get down to basic things. Like my granddaughter used to say, Grandma, I just got to I need ketchup. So, so sometimes, when I was going through something, that was really, really challenging, I do a do-have list. And that gets it down.
Have this. I do have that.
That's right. I do have a pen that I can write with, I got some, I got this. I got some water. I do have some coconut water right here I can drink. So I get it down to the real minute things. And then that just kind of like takes all this other stuff away. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, you might have. But look what you do have. And I do have a lot of papers around because I read a lot. So some people might call it something else, but I call it, I have a lot of reading material around. How is that?
That's it. It's a do have.
That's right. I do have lists. And then that gets people thinking way down here, it's like, oh, okay. I do have gas in my car. Mm-hmm. Some people got cars with no money to buy gas.
Yeah.
So anyway, tell me about Houston, because you moved from Seattle down there, and I haven't been to see you yet.
Yes. Well, Houston is, I'd say, one of the most diverse cities in the United States right now. We have someone from everywhere in the world. Probably, 5+ years ago, Hurricane Harvey. You saw, we are the world. We are Houston. There's certain streets you can go down and have everything from Russian to Indian to Guatemalan food all on one street. It is amazing. And our neighborhoods are very diverse. We're I'd say we still think of ourselves as a country town, but we are definitely we're the third largest U.S. city.
Right.
So
but how does Black people thrive there and all of that diversity?
Well,
sometimes people of color, we the cheese just stands alone.
Well, in the midst of all that diversity, we have, Texas Southern University, of course, the universities out there at Prairie View and, our community colleges and here, provide the educational background for everybody, but especially African American folks to thrive. We have lots of great organizations. We have our wonderful mayor, Sylvester Turner, who this is his. He's our outgoing mayor, and but he's done a lot of great things like seeing us through Hurricane Harvey and all kinds of things to build up the city. So I'd say this is definitely a place where African American people are thriving, especially in the small business community. We have Buy Black Saturday over at the Shrine of the Black Madonna.
Oh yeah.
And several other Buy Black markets. There's even a dance thing. You'll see Black People Church, which is like a dance. Thing. People are getting their groove on at Black People Church. We had some
Black People Church. I have to look that up.
Yes, yeah. It's more of a young people thing. They're getting their dancing groove on.
It's a new way to shout, eh? Is it a new way to shout?
Yeah, it's more of a dance thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's interesting, So hey, well, it sounds like life is good. I'll get down there to visit you. Probably the summer time is when I'm going to probably do some trips. But getting back to spirituality and everything is spiritual when we look at it in a different way.
Exactly.
And earlier today when we had a little light conversation, one of the things I was saying is if people really understood that every moment is a gift.
Yes.
Every moment is a gift. I think that the world would be so much differently,
Yeah.
Just having that, just sinking that in and just like, okay. Because so many people, when you leave home in the morning, some people don't think about getting back home at night, but a lot of people, everybody who left home today won't get home tonight, see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's why we say our prayer of protection.
That's right. Calamity has always been with us, Yes, calamity has been with us since the beginning of time, but you just couldn't sue nobody if the elephant got, if a rhino got you got one of your kids, or if the bridge collapsed, or whatever. You couldn't go to court in those days.
Yeah. May the light of God surround you. May the love of God unfold you. But everywhere we are, God is.
Yeah, the light of God surrounds you, the love of God enfolds you, the power of God protects you, the presence of God is over you, and wherever you are,
like that.
God, wherever you are, God is, and all is
wherever
well.
you are, God is.
God is, and all is well. Because my kids would, before we got in the car, they would say it, and they would say it before we got out the car, and when we had some cars that needed to get a little bit more energy to go up the hills. He was in Seattle. They would start at the bottom of the hill saying the prayer of protection to get us up the hill. Yeah, it's a wonderful prayer, isn't it?
Yes, it is definitely a wonderful prayer.
Yeah,
Do we have time for a short gratitude meditation?
Well, I don't know how that would work on the radio, but I guess we could try for just a few minutes and see, So yeah.
So hopefully all your radio listeners are out there and they can start by finding a quiet and comfortable space to sit down. We're not going to ask you to lie down, ensuring that your body is at ease. Take a few deep breaths. And if it feels comfortable for you, close your eyes. If not, just go with us, breathe in and out, and in and out. And simply bring your awareness to the present moment. Feel the sensations in your body and the rhythm of your breath. Allow any worries to drift away and simply focus on the here and now. Think about the events of your day, both big and small. consider the people you've interacted with, all the experiences that you had, and the moments that brought you joy, gratitude, or peace. And let's just reflect on that.
We don't have a lot of time.
Well,
we had silence.
When you have a few more minutes to yourself, when you have a few more minutes to yourself, you can reflect on the things that brought you gratitude.
That's
and
right.
You can savor those moments and create in yourself that sense of peace and contentment that you can take with you to your Thanksgiving events that you may enjoy later on this week. And, maybe if we come back for another program, we can do a little bit of a progressive meditation where you can let go of some of that stress and tension that may have followed you.
That's right. Or leaving when you're leaving the Thanksgiving event, because sometimes you go around.
There you go. Maybe you have to. Yes, maybe we might need to reconvene after Thanksgiving and do a releasing.
That's right. Releasing. Yeah.
And because we have, I've done a few meditations where, before big events, and this one book, it was written by a woman in Seattle, Margot Adair, and I know
I have that book. I knew her.
Yes. I figured you're right.
Yeah, I have it, and I knew her. Yes. She autographed the book to me. Yeah, great meditation book. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. It's on my shelf. I know exactly where that one is. It's on my shelf. Sometimes I got to look for things, but I know where that one is.
That's a beautiful book because it even talks about releasing. She has releasing meditation. So if you get into the Thanksgiving hubbub and there's some stuff you picked up that you need to
you can release it. Yeah.
There's some beautiful meditations on releasing things.
Right. Let's take a break here. We're going to listen to "Imagine" by Eve Cascade. She's going to sing that song as we can imagine a great Thanksgiving for people. Also, you listen to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm your host from Walden. We'll be right back.
To kill or die for.
The King County Sheriff's Office is proud to support the Mother's Justice Show. We're an equal opportunity employer that recruits, hires, and trains qualified and diverse police officers to practice constitutional policing throughout King County. With a starting salary of $62,000 a year, scheduled pay increases along the way, generous health, dental, and vision insurance, and a take-home car upon successful completion of field training. This can be an attractive and rewarding career. So join us and be a person that serves their community and helps to bring about positive change. For more information on becoming a member of King County Sheriff's Office, go to our website, kingcounty.gov/DEPTS/sheriff. That's kingcounty.gov/departments/sheriff. Or get more information by calling 206-263-KCSO. That's 206-263-KCSO.
The Mother's Justice Show is brought to you by H.G. Walden and the Virtues Healing Circles. Join us for Wisdom and Wellness with Reverend Walden, a monthly virtual and in-person healing circle that focuses on community healing and growth. Learn more at virtueshealing.com. That's virtueshealing.com. Also, be sure to join our healing group on Facebook. Again, visit us at virtueshealing.com today.
No other station delivers this much variety. Alternative Talk 1150.
Yes, you're listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm your host, Reverend Walden. It's my joy to be on air. And yes, join me. I'm not a dreamer. I'm not the only one. Join us one day so we can live in peace. I believe that. I believe peace is now. I don't think it's mammy-pammy. I don't think it's an idea that has to wait its turn. I think it's been 2,000 years and war could have got us there. Oh, if war could have got us to nirvana, and hatred could have got us to nirvana, and jealousies could have got us to nirvana, we'd be there by now. So join us in the quest for for imagining and living in peace. And I want to bring my guest back on. She's a practitioner, and also she's also involved with her other spirituality. I mean, she has two branches that she does. She's involved with the African spirituality. It's been around a long time, and also she's a practitioner at the Church of Religious Science there in Houston. Welcome back.
Yes. So, we were talking about what does gratitude do for you? Why bother with gratitude? Even though this reading is not directly focused on gratitude, I believe that the title of it, and it's from Reverend Michael's book.
Oh, yes.
Mind Fast and Soul Feast. Day 12, about up-leveling your vibratory contribution. I think that that's what gratitude does for us.
Yes.
It helps us to be at the same, to up-level ourselves so that we are getting closer to the vibration of what we want to bring into our life.
Yes.
When you say that, yes, I'm grateful for the life that Spirit has given me. Yes, I'm grateful for even challenging circumstances that come into our life. Just like there is the particular experience, there's also the solution that is embedded into that experience. So this little bit about up-leveling your vibratory contribution, I think is a good thing, and I'll just read it. Some people mentally try to pick up vibrations from things, crystals, good luck charms, candles, pictures, pilgrimages, and so forth. And I like all those things, of course. But it says you are not here merely to catch vibrations from things. You are here to imbue things with your vibration.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where gratitude comes in. Everything in the three-dimensional world is made up of spirits, thought vibrations condensed into the form.
That's
its
right.
Vibration of truth reverberates through you. It vibrates outward from you into the world. You are here to anchor the vibration of the divine in the human dimension. And that's where gratitude comes in. We can more fully anchor the divine in the human dimension when we look at everything that we have already received from source energy, whether you call it God, whatever you call it, whether you're in the African tradition and we say Olodumare, or we call it the great mothers, the divine feminine, by whatever name you call it.
Right.
Tapping into gratitude helps you to anchor.
That's right.
That high and holy vibration everywhere you go in the world. And people know it.
They do.
I was in a pizza place not far from me, just right down Telephone Road by the 610. And a lady came way over from I think they were someplace else in there in the restaurant. And, of course, I was probably wearing something very interesting, but how not see me, but she came over. I need a hug, people know when your vibratory frequency is high enough to share something with them. They know.
That's right. They really do know. That's right.
And when you're anchoring gratitude each and every day, you simply are, now some things you might be a magnet to, some things you might need to send back, but a lot of those things are magnetized. Your good is magnetized to you.
Yes.
And that's why one of the reasons why it's not for nothing that we take time and bring a space into our lives to anchor gratitude.
That's right. That's right. And the sooner that we can teach this to children, the sooner that they won't be so disappointed or being sorry or to feel like they don't have friends or nothing like that. Because once you're grateful and understand that life is always good for you. I mean, there's something always good. Our good is beckoning us all the time, and we have to open up our eyes a little bit to see it. and to really fully accept that is good for us, and wherever we go, there's good. And when my kids first said, when we first started this way at Unity, my kids would say, "Oh, that's good for us. I know it's a parking space." I mean, because your first thing you do is start manifesting a parking space, and then kids become a believer. Oh, yeah, there's a parking space over there, Mama. There's a parking space, and then after a while they want to get closer to where you're going. Well, let's see if we can get right in front of where we're going. And then, and all of a sudden they get there. We get there, in our car. Our car got us there in those days, and they said, "Oh, Mommy, can we get a parking space right in front of where are we going? McDonald's, wherever it was." Yes. And we said, "Well, yeah, of course, let's bless it." And the art of blessing and believing that, then we get there in the parking space, and then they become believers. I mean, because, you have to have a demonstration to become a believer. And once you have a demonstration, and that's why when people say the Lord is my shepherd, well, how is the Lord your shepherd? How has the Lord been your shepherd? Can you talk about the demonstration when you know for a fact that the Lord was your shepherd, or that this blessing just kind of dropped out of nowhere? Out of nowhere, an angel came up. And then when I live there, sometimes I need help by, getting my stuff upstairs and whatever. And I sit in my car and I say, well, I know God got an angel for me. Why not me? And then somebody walks out the door or something like that, and they say, "Oh yeah, I'll take it up for you." So I say, "Thank you for being my angel today." And they look around. I say, "Yeah, God always has an angel for me every day," and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful. And they show up in all kind of colors. I mean, when you're short, sometimes at the grocery store, you need an angel. And sometimes I'll be trying to get something, and I call them. Sometimes they look like me, and sometimes they don't. If they tall, I'm gonna call you. I'm saying, "Come here." And I said, I've been short all my life. I've been short since the 9th grade. Can you reach that for me?
Yes.
And I'm always grateful. And then I say, thank you for being my angel. Because that's, because I expect angels to show up for me.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's what that's how you help people, because you're the practitioner. I'm not a practitioner. I do other kind of spiritual work, but you're a practitioner.
We are all the practitioners of our own life. We are all the practitioner, and Spirit acts upon us not as what we say we believe, but what we truly believe in our subconscious mind.
And that, just say that again, because that's the uncharted course in our community. I mean, right now we're talking about African Americans. So right now in our community, because we've been fed so much stuff since we got stolen. Mm-hmm. Since we got stolen. So just talk a little bit about consciousness, and what it is, and how it runs our life.
I'm going to try to make it as simple as possible. In Science of Mind, we always talk about seed, soil, plant. So we are constantly placing seed thoughts into our unconscious mind, and they sprout up as, all the different conditions in our life. So, if I want carrots, I need to plant carrot seeds. If I want collard greens, I need to plant collard green seeds. If I planted carrots and expecting collard greens, that is not going to happen. So what are we planting in our subconscious mind? What thoughts are we planting in our subconscious mind? Are we sowing seeds of negativity? Are we sowing seeds of lack, limitation, dis-ease, drama of every nature? Then we shouldn't be surprised that, we're that there's a harvest of those kinds of effects that are happening in the world. But in our own personal experience, we can change. Not only are we we're the sower, we are the responsible for the seed, and we're the ground of the consciousness, and we witness the effects.
We witness the effects. I really like how you say that. And sometimes I tell people that it's like the hologram on Star Trek. We're always ordering from the holodeck. We're always ordering, but we don't always know that we're ordering. Because we have not been brought up in that consciousness of knowing that every time, every word is a prayer. I mean, it's no idle words. I mean, it's no jokes in spirit. Everything. So yeah.
And even if we don't say the words, we're planting those, whatever we're allowing, whether it's other people or ourselves to plant in our consciousness, those things come about. Sometimes even those off, I remember driving down a street in Seattle, and I says, "Oh, wouldn't it be nice to live on this block?" And I kid you not, it might have been probably 10 years later, I ended up living on that very same street in Beacon.
Right. Yes.
And I just took a side trip down that street, many years before. There were no houses for sale. All of a sudden, when I was looking for a home, my friend's son, who is a real estate agent, he got, and I had said, "Oh, I'm done looking at houses for the day." And, he called me and he says, "Oh, just come look at this one." And when we walked up the stairs in the loft, you could see Mount Rainier. And that's the street that I drove down many years before that. And why did I drive down it? Because we were doing a project at the King County GIS Center, and we were editing streets. And that was one of the streets that we were editing and, doing lots of other, geospatial stuff with. But just that you would come full circle, to be working in that area, in the virtual world.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Drive down that street in the real world, and then several years later own a home on that same street. You can't make this stuff up.
No, you can't. Cannot make it up. You cannot make it up, really and truly. And I've been reading Joseph Murphy's book, The Power of the Subconscious Mind. And I've been giving it out to people. I think I've given out 10 copies and going to give out more for people who's willing to walk through that door. Because you got to be willing to walk through the door of transformation to change your consciousness. I'm still working on it. I'm still peeling the onion. I'm still doing it. So it's not complete.
We are all works under construction. There's no one that I think that's one of the things people don't talk about, their own explorations of consciousness, their own spirituality, because they say, "Oh, well, people will say, well, you're not perfect, blah, blah, blah." Well, who is? Who is? But we are all working toward knowing our highest and best self.
That's right. That's right.
And doing that everything.
That's right. And to know that highest and best self is unlimited.
Yes.
There's no limitations there. And the more that we can free ourselves to walk through those other doors, then the vastness of the universe opens up to us. And then we find ourselves transformed into the house that, buying the house on the street that you went down years ago, and those kinds of things. And so, for me, I'm a believer. I believe this way of life, and I've been practicing for a long time. I raised my children in this way of life. But I believe that I think more and more people are wanting to wake up to something. They want to hear some good news. Mm-hmm. And now you could actually create your good news like we're doing right now. We're creating good news. I mean, and good news is going out over the airwaves. I mean, and it's going to find a home somewhere. I mean, because people so want to feel encouraged. They want to feel encouraged. They have a place to be, and their gifts are needed. This is why young people, their gifts are needed in the world. Our gifts are needed, and not just say. So it's not, we're not giftless. We got gifts to give. Creator made it so. Just like you're giving your gifts right now, and I so appreciate you taking your time to come on here with me and this Thanksgiving week here. This beginning of the holiday season, the way we know it, and and for this side, where we're at right now, and and I just loved, your mother passed away almost a few years ago, and so she was a dear friend of mine, Ms. Wilder, and she always says, "God be with you."
Yes, she always did. And
just a
now,
lovely, lovely lady, and yeah, she raised a lovely daughter. And what we share in common that we both only child. I have a propensity to attracting only childs to me in my lifetime.
yes,
I've lived a lifetime doing that, so I have a lot of friends who are only child, and we have a great time together. And your mother was a beautiful spirit, beautiful person who raised a beautiful daughter. So I'm grateful that I got to meet your mother and spend quality time with her. Yeah.
Yes, now that she's passed on, I've had the opportunity to, I've been going through a lot of her books, and she has all sorts of cards, and just a vast amount of spiritual material. One of her books was this Sylvia Brown Meditations. And
she was on the cutting edge. Your mother was on the cutting edge. She probably had some friends who wondered in her time, well, what is Carolyn doing? I mean, what kind of stuff is she doing? What kind of, so yeah, but she's very, very much aware. Isn't that beautiful?
Yes, I had a vast amount of meditative and spiritual material to pull from for her memorial service.
I bet you did. We only got 2 minutes here left now, and so I just wanted to, I wanted to thank you for being on my show today, and I'll have you back. I do esoteric shows at least once a quarter. Right. If not, according to what's going on in the world, I might need to do them a little bit more. But I wanted to, as we end the song, we're gonna do Blessed Always, and that's one of the beautiful songs that you sing. And you are blessing our show today, and blessing people. And on this Thanksgiving week here, I just bless you and thank you for being on my show today with great gratitude for you.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I look forward to visiting your show in the future.
All righty. Well, we'll make sure that happens. We'll make sure that happens. Okay.
You've been listening. Fabulous Thanksgiving and a beautiful holiday season.
Well, blessed always. Happy Thanksgiving for people out there.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
There's always something to be grateful for.
Always something to be grateful. Thank you. See you next time.
Loving you.
Loving you.